It's Our Story. Stephen Brown, Louisville, Kentucky.
Zona was originally from Oregon, and she had, for a middle-class white person, had a very unusual upbringing. Her mom was married 4 times before Zona left the house as a teenager. So, and there were a lot of other things around that, but sort of the point about that is that Zona herself had this unusual experience, and therefore maybe some different ways of looking at the world from her upbringing. And she talked about how the most important thing to her after having those experiences once she got married was having a solid family and keeping the family together. So she really worked at that. And I don't want to exclude Ed's father either. His name was Vern, and I didn't know him. He died actually pretty young. He died in the 60s. But one of the things I do know about him is that he was a kind of could fix anything kind of guy. So when something went wrong with Ed's equipment, he was able to fix it. And that made a huge difference in Ed being able to live at home. You know, they had a huge iron lung out in their living room. And in fact, before Ed could come home from the hospital, they had to move from one house to another so that they had space for him to be there. So their lives, their lives were really intertwined for all of Ed's life, or most of Ed's life, but till the end of his life in some ways. So Zona's obviously there as his mom when he's a teenager. After he does graduate from high school, he goes to a community college and he's still living at home. And at first, Zona's the one driving him to campus and taking notes for him, but that changes as time goes along. And then he moves to Berkeley and goes into Cowell, the hospital there, where he's the first person with this kind of disability to go to an American university. And that's really the first time he's away from Zona after he has polio.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.